again, and welcome to Unlocked with Agogo, where we share inspiring stories. I have a guest with me today on this podcast series who is nothing short of an inspiration. She is a leader in her own right. I have the beautiful BMI. So I wanted to say your full name, and I was like, no, let's leave them wondering what BMI means.
Okay.
She's Mrs. Bumi Solomon, and it is a pleasure having you on set
Thank
today.
you so much for having me. I'm so excited already.
All right, so we're going to be talking about women in leadership, overcoming challenges and achieving success. I'll run a brief bio, maybe just some sort of brief to help you understand why our guest is just apt for today's topic. She is the convener Abuja Worship Service, founder Kaduna Gospel Talent Hunt. She hosts the Royalty Concert. She's been in the music industry for over 20 years. She's been doing music ministry for that long. She has a discussion forum almost like this, yes, tagged The Box Africa, that hosts young entrepreneurs in a discussion panel where they tell their stories like we do here. She organizes the jazz and buffet concert for families to unwind, eat good food at a reasonable fee. And she's working on her very first. I think we should have been expecting that, right? Because for someone who, leads people this much and seems to be someone who is a founder here, a convener there, that's why I said she's really inspirational. She is working on her very, very first book. I won't say she'll tell us a little about it, but just maybe keep watching, keep watching. Thank you once again, BMI.
Thank you so much for having me
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah.
So we'll delve right into it. Women in leadership. This wasn't a topic decades ago because you had a lot of men in leadership position, and the women were not, will I say, considered as often. They didn't even see themselves as leaders because it was a man's world.
Yeah.
But today we can't say it's a man's world because you have women in leadership positions spanning across different industries. And there are challenges, as there are, even being alive. I think everybody faces challenges, but more so women in leadership. And that's what we want to briefly discuss today. Overcoming the challenges of women in leadership and achieving success. Um, I want to start with a brief background. I want you to tell us how, what made you think that you could be all this as a woman, what was it like growing up for you? What inspired you to be this leader, woman leader? They like to say in some instances
Woman
that you are
leader.
today. Yes.
Okay, well, my background is a background of we are like a large family,
Ah.
and then we are being encouraged to be outspoken,
Oh,
be ourselves, and just go for what you want.
okay.
Yeah, like for me, I've always known I was going to go into music. Everybody
Okay.
knew that. I'm almost the youngest, but I am the person that was really called into music ministry. I have other ones. Some of them are not pursuing it full time,
Okay.
but I have been doing it for a very long time, and I've had different opportunities to lead the youths, the teenagers. Then it increased to women and all
Ah,
of that.
okay.
Yeah. So, and then I've always liked to mingle with people that are more advanced than I am, people older
Okay,
than
that,
me.
that says a lot.
Yes, and then because sometimes when I'm talking with my mates, it's like they are restricting me. The
Ah,
ideas I have.
really ambitious. That sounds really
Yes,
ambitious.
yes. So most times I try to go out. I remember when I was much younger, they gave me a song to work on, a very complicated song, and every other person turned it down because they just believed.
It was
This
so
song is not
difficult.
for yes. I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep. I was scoring that song till 2 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah. So my dad had to tell me, Madam, you are going to school. It's not as if you are even in university or you are still in secondary school. Why don't you sleep and allow your brain to rest? So I've known it for quite some time now
Yeah.
that I'm not just on the average.
Yeah.
So I started working on myself at a very, very young age.
Sounds like you've always had a passion for leadership.
Yes, I've always had it.
Wow. But what, as a woman, what's the most significant risk I'll say that you would say rather that you have taken as a woman in leadership? And do you think it was worth it?
Yeah. Okay, there was this time I was supposed to go on a trip to Lagos to sing.
Okay.
And then I was already at the airport before I told my husband.
Wow.
Yes.
That was a risk.
That was a big risk. Because, okay, I kept trying his line and it wasn't connecting. Okay, instead of me to even just leave a message, I just wanted to make sure I was there. Now, I've always wanted to go to Lagos, but I told myself I will never go to Lagos except by flight.
Okay.
So that delayed my going to Lagos for a very long time.
Wow.
So when the opportunity now came, I was trying to
This is what you call
communicate
against all odds.
Yes. So when I got there, I now called him. He said, "Okay, you are already at the airport." I said, "Yes." I now made sure I reduced my voice.
That was
You know what?
tricky.
I was as gentle as a dove.
I said, dove.
Okay, so and then like in my school, I was the welfare secretary, assistant welfare secretary. They later impeached the
Like
welfare
at
secretary.
is that university?
No, I attended Kaduna Polytechnic.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's like the student union government.
yeah, student union government.
That's big.
Yes. So I didn't really campaign for it because I was already very popular in the school.
I can tell.
I do MC, I sing.
Okay.
When they are doing birthdays.
Natural born leader.
So if you see the poster I even made, you will laugh. It was A4 black and white that I did. But I had a lot of people that already told me, "Don't worry, yeah."
There's this, you don't win.
Yes.
You don't win.
So I've always had that in me that anything I set my mind to do, I can achieve it.
Wow, that's awesome. So would you say that the risks you took were worth it?
They were worth it. They were worth it. Well, like if I'm to still go back there, I think I'll still take the same risk or better risk so that I can, maybe I'll have gone further by now.
So
Yeah,
I understand that risks in life are inevitable because for anyone at all who wants to step out and you want to achieve anything, there is the risk of there being a risk. Let me put it that way, even though it sounds like a tautology, right? It will always be there. But we're all encouraged as humans to step out. I think that even being born is a risk because the mother took a risk. Even if the delivery is supposed to be a natural process, there are so many things that could go wrong. Yes, and that's why medical science has, evolved to the part where there are different ways to mitigate that risk of, a child dying, a baby dying, or the mother even dying to some extent. So, yeah, I think risks are inevitable. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self, especially for someone like you who has always had that passion for leadership as a girl and as a woman? What would you tell yourself? What would you do differently?
Well, what I would have done differently is I would have advised myself to have taken more risks.
More risks?
Yes.
Wow.
Because
about
I
risks.
had some opportunities that I actually missed because I was still,
unsure.
contemplating, should I do this, should I not?
Okay.
I had opportunities of traveling out to for some events. I had the other opportunity, that one is not a good one because I made up my mind I was going to do gospel.
Okay.
Yes, I had an offer, a very big amount of money to go into secular. Then I used to be into rap and R&B mainly.
Wow, there is so much to you we don't know.
Yes. So I had this offer and it was very, very juicy, but I had to turn it down because, like I told somebody, you don't expect me to go and be singing worship in the club. Who am I deceiving? Yes, it doesn't make any sense. You understand?
Yeah.
But I had so many other opportunities that I didn't really push for.
Okay.
I just felt, this is too much for me at this time.
Okay.
But if it's now, my God.
Oh, so you are older and wiser now.
Older and wiser, yes, older and wiser.
What's the one thing that you wish men understood about women in leadership? And how can they be better allies? How can they support us more?
Well, some men are naturally intimidated by women that are leaders because they believe they are competing with them.
Okay.
Like I tell couples, if your wife is somebody that is out there, outgoing, support her, because after all, they still say,
Her glory is your glory.
yes, your madam is doing well. Isn't that your madam they called her? Yeah, I know of this couple that if this one says she wants to, if the woman says she wants to start maybe a restaurant, the other one will open one too.
Oh, like in
In
competition?
competition. So if she says she
Wow.
wants a master's degree, he will
He'll
go and
sign up
enroll
for
too.
one as
So
well.
it doesn't make any sense. I believe men should see women as people that God has just blessed.
Yeah, as complimentary.
Complementary. Women put their heart to anything they want to
Yeah,
do.
that's a fact.
I always tell people, especially worshippers, I love to bring more women because the way God has made us, we are very compassionate, very emotional. So we worship God as if,
From the deepest
from the
place.
deepest place. So
Aye,
men
okay.
should support as much as they can.
Okay.
Yes, as much as
And
they
be
can.
less competitive
Less
because women
competitive and less
complement.
threatened.
Ah, okay. That's a good point. If you're watching this, feel free to. The discussion is hot. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share. Let's hear your thoughts. We're talking about women in leadership, the challenges, and what it's like, what it is like in the world today, and what our guest has been through as a woman in leadership. I know there are times, even though you're a risk taker, that you've had self doubt. There's the imposter syndrome. You're not sure about something. How have you been able to handle that? What strategies did you employ to handle, self doubt, even in the place of leadership?
Okay, I think that at a point in my life, 2 points in my life, I had that.
Okay.
First was at a time in Kaduna. I think both periods were when I gave birth to my children. My second daughter, when I gave her to her, I wasn't having invitations to sing anywhere.
Okay.
So everybody were now saying, since she
That's
don't born,
because of-
yes.
Wow.
Some were even saying since she got married, even though they forgot that I had been singing for a while and I just stepped back because. So at that point, I was now telling myself, so what did I do wrong? Is it a crime to give birth to my children in my marriage? You understand?
Yeah.
So I now started contemplating, did I make the wrong choice and all of that.
That's tricky.
So at a point, I just had to just seek God's face. I told him, this
Right.
is not what I want. I beg.
Right.
Help
I
me.
like the use of the abeg.
Yes.
When you get to the point where it's too much, you just enter pidgin
Sincerely,
English.
like people you trained, you now see
Yeah.
them just flying. It's now as if you are doing something wrong. So at a point, there was a person that once told me that I got married too young. And I didn't marry young. You understand?
Yeah.
In term young. So I was now like, okay, was this person saying the truth? You understand?
Okay.
So I had to go back to the drawing board, reassess myself, and just tell myself I am good enough. It's just not time for them to invite me.
Are.
And that
Yes,
was how I
you are.
overcame that particular one.
Wow.
The other one is my recent child that I had.
Okay.
Yeah. I just noticed it was as if the doors of invitations closed. And I'm partially into full-time. I'm basically into full-time music ministry. And I had to even complain to a friend. I said, they don't invite me again. What's happened now? So I now went back. I said, okay, maybe I should be more out there. I should let people know that, okay, despite what I've given, doesn't mean I've given up on singing.
Giving birth does not mean giving up.
It does not mean giving
I
up.
think I should write that
Yes.
down.
So I started I started putting out content. I'll just record maybe a song in my house. My husband plays the
That's so
keyboard for
beautiful.
me.
I like the fact that you looked
Yes,
inwards.
Yes. So I started bringing out content. Some even comedy self, just for people to remember this person still there somewhere. You understand? As time went by, people now were comfortable with the fact that okay, this person is still on board, and I started getting invitations.
I think that can be a struggle because it happens to almost everybody when there's a major change in your life.
Yeah.
You're not sure how people will perceive you, and it's just so easy for self-doubt to creep in. But I like the fact that she said she went back to the drawing board. God is our source, irrespective of who you are. We were all made, created by God. So whatever doubt you're having in your heart, in a position of leadership or not, as a woman, as a man, as a child, please go back to the drawing board. Jesus is waiting with arms wide open to receive you. He wants to hear from you. A personal relationship with God is the key to success in every right. Thank you so much, BMI.
Mm,
We've been
thank you.
talking about women in leadership. She has talked about her experiences. And I just want to also find out, we talked about the fact that you're writing a book.
Yeah.
And I was telling her that I don't think it's out of place that she's writing a book for someone who is this passionate, for someone who is in a position of leadership in several rights. I think it's really apt. So her book is going to be released beginning of next year. Please look out for it. If you could create a mentorship program for aspiring women leaders like yourself, what would be the top 3 things you would teach based on your experience, your passion, and how far you've come?
Yeah, I'll tell them to create time for everything. They should try to balance their time.
Balance, yeah.
Because I notice most women don't know how to balance.
Hmm.
There was a lady that kept on saying, I have not been inviting her for some of, then I was still in Kaduna for some of my meetings. So the time I reached out to her, she gave me 101 excuses why she couldn't come. So I was like, okay, so why are you now telling me that I didn't invite you? So you should know when to sacrifice. You can't just get somebody to babysit the kids,
Okay.
and go there.
So basically, it calls for balance.
Yes, for balance. Know when to step out. Know when to be there for your children and your family.
Very
and then
important.
know when to pursue that thing that gives you joy.
Yeah.
Like me, my own place, my happy place is anytime I'm singing or I'm in front of camera.
Just like this.
Just like this. I like to share my experiences. I like
Yeah.
to talk to people and all of that. So most women, they did not take time to let their spouse know what they have or what they want to do.
And that's
They
fundamental.
didn't discuss that in the process of courting and all of that. Everybody that came to ask me out or to ask my hand, I
put
made
it there.
very clear.
Almost put it like a signpost on your
as we're
forehead.
even talking,
This is me.
Yes, you know if you are in or out.
Yeah,
I didn't waste time. Like once, if immediately I marry, I will just open one shop and see. I say, you and who?
Okay.
Are you getting me? Music is a big deal for me because that is the major thing God called me to do. So, as a woman, yours might be baking, might be teaching kids,
Yeah.
and then you should just learn how to balance it.
Balance.
That is the major problem.
So key. So
Balance,
key.
yes.
I like the fact that she used that to cap everything because I think everything in life, even whether you're single, married,
Yes.
no matter who you are or what area of life your specialty is, I think that we always need balance, especially because we all have 24 hours. There's nobody that has 24 hours, 1 second to their day. No, one day is 24 hours, and we all need to be able to balance our activities, whether you are in a leadership position or not. Thank you so much, BMI. This has been really insightful and exciting. But before we go, we'd like to ask, so what are we expecting from you musically, from the stables of BMI International, BM International? Music this year, next year,
Maybe
just
next
something.
year. For this year, I'm not really
Yeah,
planning
some of
to
us
do.
are closing shop for the
Yes,
year.
I'm
Amen.
not-
This is November.
I'm planning to do anything. Okay, I forgot to touch on the book.
Yeah.
The book is basically about my experiences and how churches and ministers are supposed to view music ministers because there is a lot of misconceptions.
Wow.
Yes. So I tried my best to balance it
Okay.
for the singer, the minister, and the church member that doesn't know much about what goes on, so that you won't just be having a misconception about this person
The
is
person
this,
you
this
see up
person
there
is
who
that.
is a
this person-
leader.
Yes, music ministers should be treated right. That was the major thing I emphasized on.
The book.
And they are not there because they didn't have any other thing to do.
Wow.
Because you just said something, say, you came very late. What have you been doing since morning? What do you mean by what have I been doing since morning?
Okay.
I have a life.
It's an interesting book, guys.
So
It's an
just
interesting
watch
book.
out
You
for
just you need to watch out for it. I'm so expectant, waiting to read that book and to share with others as well. Thank you so much for being with us today on this podcast series. This has been Unlocked with Agogo.